This film is brought to you by New York Life and its over 11,000 agents and representatives who offer you quality financial products and services to help you get the most out of life.
Phoenix, Tempe, the state of Arizona. Welcome to the National Football League.
The Cardinals' third season under head coach Gene Stallings and their first representing Phoenix began in Cincinnati, where the club's all-time leader in combined offense, Stump Mitchell, added 128 more yards to his record totals. Like Mitchell, quarterback Neil Lomax began his 8th NFL season in impressive style, connecting on 21 of 31 attempts with 2 touchdowns. The traditionally potent Cardinal offense pierced Cincinnati for nearly 400 yards, including a picture-perfect touchdown to Roy Green. But the difference in a tight game was provided by the defense of the surprising Super Bowl-bound Bengals, whose 2 goal line stands stopped the Cardinals just 1 yard short. In week 2 for the first official NFL game in the Valley of the Sun, a sellout crowd welcomed the Cardinals and Monday Night Football to Sun Devil Stadium. The first official NFL touchdown scored in the state of Arizona came on a Neil Lomax pass to fullback Earl Farrell, which gave Phoenix a second quarter lead against the Dallas Cowboys. A second Lomax touchdown pass, this one to tight end Jay Novacek, brought the Cardinals to within 3 points, with 4 minutes remaining in another tight game. This time, 3 key plays were crucial in determining the final outcome. First, an aborted run from field goal formation by kicker Al Del Greco. Next, a Lomax pass to J.T. Smith for 34 yards to the Dallas 9 was wiped out by a penalty for lining up too far off the line of scrimmage. And finally, a controversial pass interference call enabled Herschel Walker to run out the clock for a 3-point Dallas victory. In Tampa for week 3, the Phoenix defense throttled the Bucs offense and forced 3 turnovers, including a clutch interception by safety Lonnie Young. The turnovers were turned into points as Neil Lomax completed 10 of 13 passes and Jay Novacek and J.T. Smith each accumulated over 100 yards. A lead block by number 32, rookie running back Tony Jordan, cleared the way for a 20-3 halftime lead before Lomax was forced out by a chronic hip inflammation. Stump Mitchell again rushed for more than 100 yards. And trailing by a point with time waning in the 4th quarter, Cliff Stout led a drive which culminated in the touchdown, which gave the Phoenix Cardinals their first regular season victory.
Back to throw is Stout. Looking, throwing up the middle of the field. It's caught at the 5. Touchdown, Novacek.
Road victory number 1 was quickly followed by home victory number 1, as a cortisone shot helped alleviate the pain in Neil Lomax's inflamed hip. Against the defending world champion Washington Redskins, tight end Jay Novacek was again an important cog in the offensive machine, and rookie Tony Jordan soared up and over for his first 2 professional touchdowns. The most spectacular offensive play was turned in by Lomax and Roy Green.
Back to throw is Neil. Looking, throwing over the middle. It's complete. Green. He's got it to the 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Phoenix.
The offensive game plan was clicking, and so was the defensive game plan, as Phoenix limited the Washington rushing attack to just 53 yards and only 2 first downs. The defense also scored some points, as rookie linebacker Ken Harvey had an end zone sack for a safety, and Freddie Joe Nunn collected the sack, which finished off the Redskins.
Ripping back to throw. Pressure coming, scrambling out. He's flushed out of the pocket, picks up a block. He's sacked at the 42. The ball is fumbled, picked up by Cedric Mack, and Mack will take it for all the way. Cardinal touchdown, it's over.
Cedric Mack's clinching score provided an exciting conclusion to the Cardinals' first victory in Sun Devil Stadium. The following week in Anaheim, the defense scored again.
Back to throw, Everett sprinting around. Sandler's after him, bats it up in the air. The ball is loose. It's ruled the fumble. Picked up by Sandler. He takes it in for the touchdown.
The defense had 1 touchdown, while the offense had 4.
Lomax back to throws. Got time. Looking near side. Corner, Roy Green at the 5. Touchdown. Roy Green takes it in. Snap comes back to Lomax. Blitz coming. He gets rid of it. End zone. Novacek. Touchdown.
Neil Lomax, the NFC's Offensive Player of the Week, led the Cardinals to more than 500 yards of offense, including a scintillating touchdown run by Stump Mitchell, as Phoenix won its 3rd straight in convincing fashion over the previously unbeaten Los Angeles Rams, 41-27. From sunny Southern California to sunny Arizona, the Cardinals' winning ways continue, as the defense held Pittsburgh to just 203 yards, while the offense scored 4 more touchdowns, 3 of them on Lomax passes. Tight end Robert Awalt, number 80, scored his first touchdown of the season, while wide receiver J.T. Smith, number 84, scored twice. Neil Lomax and the Cardinals trounced the Steelers 31-14 for their 4th straight victory, a share of first place in the NFC East Division, and their best start since the season of 1976. In Washington for a Week 7 rematch against the Redskins, Neil Lomax again passed for well over 300 yards and a pair of touchdowns, one of them to Roy Green on the Cardinals' first possession of the game. But too many other scoring chances were missed, and the Redskins came up with a superhuman effort, along with more than a little bit of luck, as Washington stopped the Phoenix winning streak at 4. The next week against Cleveland, another streak ended, as a Lomax to J.T. Smith score halted the Browns' string of 33 quarters without allowing a touchdown pass. With Stump Mitchell already sidelined by an injured ankle, Neil Lomax then re-aggravated his bad hip, bringing Cliff Stout back on stage, this time to pass the Cardinals to a 4th quarter lead with a touchdown to Robert Awalt. Bernie Kosar also took a beating, but he avoided the rush just long enough to lead the Browns to victory, with a little help from his friends. With a record of 4-4 at midseason, the Cardinals traveled to Texas Stadium, where Freddie Joe Nunn earned NFC Defensive Player of the Week honors against the Cowboys, with a forced fumble, 3 sacks, and 8 tackles. NFC Offensive Player of the Month, Neil Lomax, broke open a low-scoring game in the 4th quarter.
3 wideouts on the play. The line of scrimmage, the 46 of Dallas from the shotgun. Lomax rolling to the far side. Up 1, throws up the field. It's caught by Ernie Jones, the 30. He's to the 20. Spins his way down to the 15. Stays on his feet, and Jones is at the 2-yard line and out of bounds. What a catch by the rookie. From the shotgun is Lomax. He throws over the middle. Catch is made fair. Touchdown, Phoenix.
Earl Farrell's 2 fourth-quarter scores gave the Cardinals a satisfying 3rd win in 12 seasons at Dallas. Back home in Sun Devil Stadium for a Week 10 confrontation against San Francisco, the world champions-to-be rolled up a shocking 23-0 lead in the 3rd quarter before the Phoenix defense brought the 49ers to a screeching halt. Late in the 3rd quarter, Neil Lomax got the Cardinals on the scoreboard with a touchdown pass to Roy Green. Then, following a 4th quarter field goal, Lomax passed to rookie wide receiver Ernie Jones in the end zone to bring the Cardinals within 6 at 23-17 with 2 minutes left. When Lomax got the ball again, just 1:27 remained with no timeouts left. A 25-yarder to Ernie Jones took the ball to the San Francisco 9. Lomax had already completed 24 passes for more than 300 yards. But with only 6 seconds left, all that mattered now was the final 9 yards. Roy Green's clutch catch climaxed a drive which covered 66 yards in 7 plays. The last was just 3 seconds left. In the NFL's Game of the Year, the Cardinals had shocked the once and future champions 24-23. Week 11 brought the New York Giants to Arizona, and the Cardinals were rude hosts indeed. Aided by the return of Snuff Mitchell, Phoenix scored on its first 2 possessions of the game to lead 14-0 in the first quarter. Neil Lomax scored the first touchdown himself and then passed to Robert Awalt for the second. In all, Lomax passed for 353 yards on 23 completions, 9 of those to Roy Green, who had one of his greatest games with 176 receiving yards. The first-place Cardinals were the NFC's hottest team, having won 7 of their last 9 with Sun Devil victories over the last 3 Super Bowl winners. But then, the magic carpet was pulled out from under them. The next week in Houston's House of Pain, a sprained knee reduced Neil Lomax to the role of advisor, and free safety Lonnie Young went out on the second play, followed 4 plays later by his replacement. Cliff Stout gamely passed for 3 scores to Ernie Jones, Robert Awalt, and J.T. Smith, who caught 10 passes for more than 100 yards. But playing catch-up all day, the Cardinals couldn't catch the playoff-bound Oilers. The outlook remained grim for Week 13 in rainy Philadelphia. Despite the injuries to Neil Lomax and the defensive secondary, Cliff Stout and the Cardinals hung tough as fullback Earl Farrell pounded for 128 yards of total offense and 2 touchdowns. The Cardinals crossed the Eagles' goal line 5 times, more than enough times to win, but 2 apparently easy scores were called back. And with 5 turnovers, 2 of them inside the 10, and a dozen penalties, the result was a 31-21 loss and a frustrating fall from grace and first place. Gutty Neil Lomax returned, perhaps prematurely, for Week 14 at Giants Stadium. Although he completed 7 of 15 passes in the first half, his injured left knee again became aggravated, and he was again forced to the sidelines and relieved in the second half by Cliff Stout. For the second straight week, injuries and 5 turnovers were too much to overcome. The Cardinals now were not only hurt physically, they were all but mathematically eliminated from playoff contention. Back home the following week, turnovers again hurt the Cardinals as Randall Cunningham and his high-flying Eagles built a 21-0 lead before the game was 10 minutes old. But then, facing extinction, the Phoenix defense shut down the Eagles for the rest of the game. And in the second quarter, the offense came alive.
3rd down, 15. Lomax sets up at the goal line, looking, throwing up the field. The break is made on the far side, and the catch is made by Ernie Jones at the 30. He's to the 20. Touchdown, Phoenix. There's your big play.
The 95-yarder by Ernie Jones, the Cardinals' longest touchdown pass in 30 years, was followed by a big defensive play.
Fires up to the 34. The ball is fumbled, picked up by the Cardinals, and coming with it is DJ Jr. Touchdown, Phoenix.
The Cardinals trailed by only a touchdown as they entered the 4th period, and Phoenix continued its valiant rise from the ashes as Neil Lomax put on one of the greatest quarterbacking performances of the NFL season, completing 29 passes to 7 different receivers for a season-high 384 yards. A textbook fourth quarter drive featured a 20-yarder to Ernie Jones, whose sixth reception of the game gave him a total of 166 yards for the day. With 49 seconds left, on 4th and 3 from the Eagles' 13, the game and the season trickled from the Cardinals' grasp in a controversial and gut-wrenching loss to the playoff-bound Eagles, despite a truly noble effort in the face of nearly insurmountable odds. The 1988 Phoenix Special Teams featured Ron Wolfley, who for the third straight season was voted to the Pro Bowl after again leading the Cardinals' kamikaze coverage units. Bai Sikahema was having another banner year until he was sidelined for a month with a knee injury, which prevented him from becoming the first player ever to lead the NFL in punt return yardage for 3 consecutive seasons. On defense, the Cardinals were an improving blend of experience and youth. At left cornerback was third-year pro Carl Carter, number 41, who was second on the team in solo tackles and the co-leader in interceptions, along with his counterpart at right cornerback, sixth-year pro Cedric Mack, number 47. Filling in the injury-depleted secondary late in the season were young corners Roland Mitchell and Michael Brim, and the veteran free safety Lester Lyles, number 26. Number 43, fourth-year free safety Lonnie Young was third on the team in tackles, despite being sidelined for almost 5 full games. Leading the team in tackles was number 46, second-year strong safety Tim McDonald, who for most of his rookie season was out with a broken ankle, but who turned his first season as a starter into a showcase for his many talents. Barring further injury, Tim McDonald will be the cornerstone of the secondary for years to come. Second to McDonald in total tackles was number 57, fifth-year middle linebacker Nico Noga. Flanking Noga at the outside linebacker posts were number 55, the still improving third-year pro Anthony Bell, and 8-year veteran E.J. Jr., number 54, whose departure opens up a starting spot for the number 1 draft choice from California, number 56, Ken Harvey, who is a situational player, was second on the team in sacks. At defensive tackle were second-year pro Rod Sadler, number 72, who also played well at end, and number 79, third-year pro Bob Clasby, who had the team's third-best sack total, as well as a rare interception. At defensive end, when he was healthy, number 65, 7-year pro David Galloway was a force. But the man who worried quarterbacks the most was Freddie Joe Nunn, number 78, the fourth-year pro, who in his second year at defensive end collected 14 sacks, the second highest total among NFL linemen. Led by Freddie Joe on a swarming pass rush, the Phoenix defense hounded and pounded opponents into a total of 24 turnovers in 88, a number which should grow even larger in 89 as the young Cardinals continue to improve. The Phoenix offense was anchored by 2-time Pro Bowl tackle Luis Sharp, who led an offensive line of wide bodies, which included center Derek Kennard, guards Todd Pete and Lance Smith, and tackles Tootie Robbins and Scott Dill. These are the men who again enabled Neil Lomax to lead the league's most explosive offense. Two-time Pro Bowl quarterback Neil Lomax seemed to be on his way to a third Pro Bowl until his unfortunate injuries dictated otherwise. Despite his injuries, Lomax still triggered a multifaceted offense which deployed 11 different receivers and finished the season as the 4th most prolific offense in the entire NFL. The tight end position accounted for 77 receptions in 1988. 1987 NFL Rookie of the Year number 80 Rob Awalt once again came up with his share of big plays, while Jay Novacek, number 85, averaged 15 yards per catch, tops among NFL tight ends. Out of nowhere came 7th-round draft choice Ernie Indiana Jones, who not only became a clutch third-down receiver, but who led the team with an average per catch of more than 21 yards. The Arizona climate and grass playing fields admittedly did wonders for Roy Green, who sailed through his first injury-free season in 5 years and reestablished his old nickname, Jetstream. J.T. Smith has no fancy nicknames, but his 83 receptions in 1988 are surpassed in the club record books only by his own 91 of the previous year. During the past 3 seasons, J.T. Smith has caught more passes than any other NFL player. And in 1988, he was finally rewarded with a trip to the Pro Bowl. The most productive combination of wide receivers in the NFL consists of J.T. Smith and Roy Green, and no one appreciates their ability more than Gene Stallings.
I put a lot of emphasis on the ability to make the play. Some people can, some people can't. The ability to perform, I think that is really important. I think that's something that God gave them and their mothers and daddies gave them, and we just ought to develop a little bit.
And when the pressure comes, hey, that's what the game's all about. It's pressure.
6 seconds left in this one. The clock won't start until they snap the football. Lomax taking his time. They're moving around. The blitz coming. Lott is coming. Lomax throws it. Green. He's got it. Touchdown. Touchdown, Peter.
For the oldest continuously operating professional football franchise in the nation, it was just one great moment in a season of great moments. Excitement and hope in Arizona, the proud new home of the Cardinals.
This video is part of a complete blockbuster lineup of NFL films capturing pro football's greatest plays and biggest heroes with crunches, follies, highlights, and Super Bowl hits, plus new releases each season. We've got action-packed videos of every superstar team in the NFL. Call 1-800-NFL-TAPE now for a free catalog and order your NFL hit today. Or look for NFL films at your nearby video store. The season's never over with NFL Films and Fox Hills Video.